Rick and Sharon, this cold storm system is inching closer to us, and as we get a look outside, you wouldn't be able to tell by this shot. It's still dry out there. People are still out this evening on the Santa Monica Pier, but we are expecting things to change pretty soon here. So let's get a look at satellite radar. Not seeing a whole lot, but there are just a few little flurries and drops showing up in the mountains. We're going to see a whole lot more as we head into the overnight hours. We're looking at rain sitting to our north on satellite radar. We're also looking at snow. Not a whole lot of it, but it is entering the picture pretty soon here. Best chance starts to kick in after midnight tonight. We're also dealing with several watches, warnings, and advisories. You're going to see your screen lit up right here, and we'll explain each one to you. We've got a winter storm warning that kicks in at midnight. It lasts through 10 o'clock tomorrow for the mountains. The San Bernardino County mountains already seeing a few flurries. We could see more. Snow levels also dropping off to about 2,500 feet, so that does mean snow in the Grapevine, and we could see a couple inches there. You're going to see a winter weather advisory that's going to remain in effect through 12 o'clock Saturday afternoon, so we could still see a few flurries even into the first part of your weekend. We're also looking at very high surf and high tide, and with that we could see some coastal flooding. So we've got a coastal flood advisory that kicks in tomorrow and it lasts through 9 o'clock in the morning for the LA County coastline, and we've got wind advisories in store for the high desert. In fact, winds starting to kick in a little bit up there. 18-mile-an-hour sustained winds coming out of the west in Lancaster, 23 for the Apple Valley, and we are expecting to get windier as the storm starts to hit. So we're going to time it all out for you. That's coming up in just a little bit. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
This activity now happening in Big Bear. There are over 100 police officers up there. They've been going door to door, and we've been anticipating a storm up there too. So that's going to add to this whole
big
scenario.
time. Yeah, we're expecting snow up there. In fact, we're getting a few flurries up in Big Bear right now. Very minimal, but it's going to start to really speed up as we head into the overnight hours. We also have winter weather warnings and advisories up there. There's just a few flurries, as we mentioned, and another factor tonight, especially with that surge, guys, it's very cold up there. So we could even get down close to the single digits tonight, certainly in the teens. So temperatures already starting to fall. So we're going to have your forecast for the mountains and your forecast for the entire Southland. With that, let's take you to our Mount Wilson camera. And with this shot, even down to 2,000 feet. So again, a great shot, Mount Wilson, demonstrating it is foggy out there. It's cold. And there again, we're looking at just a few raindrops and a little bit of rain snow mix, just a few flurries, but things will really start to intensify as we head into the overnight hours. As we get a look at the big picture on satellite radar, when we zoom out here, you're going to see snow and rain sitting to our north. We're not seeing a whole lot of it, but we are seeing, again, rain and snow. It's out there. We're also looking at very cold conditions, so that's really going to start to make an impact on our forecast pretty soon here as temperatures start to drop off into the overnight hours. Watches and warnings, very windy out there in some of the high desert locations and in the mountains as well. We're also looking at winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and coastal flooding advisories, and you'll see the pink on your screen indicating that winter storm warning that kicks in, and it's lasting through 10 o'clock tomorrow night. The winter weather advisory actually staying in effect for the LA County mountains and the Ventura County mountains until Saturday afternoon. We could even stand to see a few more flurries, not just tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the big day, but possibly a few leftovers into Saturday morning. And we've got a coastal flood advisory. Very high tide could lead to some coastal flooding along the LA and Orange County coastlines, and a wind advisory in store as well. Expecting pretty windy, gusty northwesterly winds coming in, and westerly winds right now coming in Lancaster at 18 miles an hour, the Apple Valley at 23, and we're expecting it to get windier, and of course we're expecting it to get colder as well. We're in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, so not too cold yet, but we are expecting those temperatures to drop off. Wrightwood, you're at 33 right now, the Apple Valley at 41, Pasadena 47, and downtown 51. So we've got showers and rain on the way, gusty northwesterly winds, and maybe some isolated thunderstorms. Some spots could get a little bit of rain. Other spots, if we see isolated thunderstorms, we could get hail and downpours, and we could get a decent amount of rain there, maybe up to half an inch, maybe even an inch in some of the higher elevations. And some of the lower elevations around 2,500 feet, maybe even down to 2,000 feet, we could see snow and decent accumulations. In fact, the Grapevine possibly about 2 inches of snow, 4 to 8 inches above 4,000 feet. So we are talking a decent amount even around resort level. And for the valleys in the Inland Empire, you'll see showers for tomorrow, drying out by Saturday, partly cloudy by Sunday, and much warmer, or at least much sunnier by Monday, and warmer by your Tuesday. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
All right,
All right, Rick and Sharon, as we take you outside to the coast, we're not seeing anything quite yet in Santa Monica, but we will eventually expect some rain, some snow, gusty conditions, and possibly even some thunderstorms with this particular storm. As we get a look at satellite radar, you're going to see that low edging closer to us. There is rain, there is snow, but it's still sitting to our north. Just a few flurries and raindrops here at home, but very minimal at this point. We're barely looking at anything at all, but we are expecting a whole lot more as we head into the next 24 hours. You'll see showers and rain are on the way, gusty northwesterly winds and possible thunderstorms as well. Snow levels right now at about 4,500 feet, but once that cold air filters in, we're expecting them to drop off to maybe even 2,500 feet, potentially 2,000, but around there we probably won't see a whole lot of snow. 2 inches around the Grapevine. We could see snow on the valley floor in the Antelope Valley, and we could expect maybe 4 to 8 inches above 4,000 feet and about 4 inches below 4,000 feet. Once we get to 2,000 though, 2,500 again, maybe just a dusting there. As we get a look at temperatures from earlier today, we were on the cooler side. We were below average at 61, and over the next 24 hours, we're cooler. We're cloudier, of course, and we could be a little wetter as well. These showers are pretty scattered. We're not going to see steady downpours for the entire day, but we could see some isolated downpours and maybe even a few isolated thunderstorms by the afternoon. With that, we could see hail and again steady downpours for an extended period of time. Temperatures tomorrow generally in the 50s, a few 40s out there as well. Lancaster 48, Oxnard 55. And as we look at Futurecast right here, we're going to see a mix of rain and snow as we head into the early morning hours. We're jumping ahead to about 11 o'clock tomorrow, and you're going to see snow up in the mountains right there and through the Grapevine as well. And by lunchtime, a little after lunchtime, 1 p.m., still looking at a mix of rain and snow in our forecast. We're going to take you through the rest of Futurecast, and of course we'll have your extended forecast for the weekend and next week coming up in just a bit. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
All right,
It's headed our way exactly, and it's getting a little closer. In fact, as we get a look from our Mount Wilson camera, we can't really see much. The fog is really starting to filter in, and eventually we could see snow up there as well, with snow levels dropping very low, down to 2,500 feet, potentially down to even 2,000 feet as we head into the next couple of days here, especially tomorrow. So let's get a look at your forecast right here. Look at satellite radar showing you just a little bit of rain and a little bit of snow. Very minimal at this point. Nothing compared to what we could potentially see as we head to tomorrow. Best chance of rain and snow coming our way after midnight, and you're going to see most of it sitting to our north and offshore, just off the coast of the Monterey Bay, the Bay Area right there, the South Bay. You're going to see right over the mountains. We're seeing a little bit of snow as well, and that will continue to slide into our forecast. So for your watches and warnings, no surprise, we've got winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, wind advisories. We also have a flood advisory in effect as well. You'll see that winter storm warning in effect until 10 o'clock, and that's 10 o'clock tomorrow. The winter weather advisory, that's in effect until 12 o'clock Saturday. So we are expecting to see some heavy downpours in terms of rain, some isolated thunderstorms, maybe even again a few flurries as we head into Saturday morning right here. As we head toward the coast, we do have a coastal flood advisory as well, and you'll see that's right along the coast, the LA County coastline and the Orange County coastline. Wind advisories in effect, and with that we're looking at very gusty northwesterly winds coming in from the west right now. Lancaster at 17 miles an hour, the Apple Valley at 22 miles an hour. So temperatures currently in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 47 Pasadena, 33 in Wrightwood, and we are expecting showers and rain, gusty northwesterly winds as we mentioned, isolated thunderstorms, a potential. Snow levels now at about 4,500 feet, but as that cold air continues to filter in, it's going to continue to drop down to 2,500 feet, maybe even 2,000 feet. And with that, we could see snow on the valley floor in the Antelope Valley. We could see a couple inches in the Grapevine, which is pretty impressive, 4 to 8 inches above 4,000 feet and about 4 inches below 4,000 feet. Of course, once we get lower than that, it just turns into a dusting. Futurecast is set for midnight. Things are going to start to pick up a little bit by midnight to the overnight hours there. Then by first thing in the morning and your morning commute, we're starting to see a few showers. This particular model run starting to show widespread showers around the basin. But remember, this storm is very hit or miss in terms of rain totals and in terms of widespread rain. It doesn't look too widespread, just spotty. We could get some downpours in some spots. We could see some dry spots in others. We're certainly looking at some snow at this point for the mountains and through the Grapevine as well. well. As we head through the noon hour, you're going to continue to see rain and snow in the forecast. 4 o'clock, same thing goes. Again, snow, a pretty big factor as that cold air comes in. And by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, looks like we're looking at pretty decent snow in the Grapevine and over our local mountains as well. So remember, we do have those winter storm warnings and the advisories in effect through either tomorrow or Saturday. For the Basin in Orange County, 50s turning to 60s, and for the mountains, we're expecting 30s with snow. Remember, levels potentially dropping to 2,000. Rick and Sharon, back to you. To talk about, Sharon, that's exactly right. So we're tracking our forecast here. Fog rolling into this shot of Mount Wilson, but we're also tracking a much bigger snowstorm on the East Coast. We've got a nor'easter developing, and the latest model runs showing we could see some record snow, possibly 30 inches in some spots. You're going to see snow over the Great Lakes right now, and we are looking at storms sitting to the south, but eventually they're going to push up into the northeast, and we are expecting blizzard conditions as we head into tomorrow night, and early Saturday as well. So we will continue to track the northeast. Of course, we're tracking our forecast here at home, and it's still quite calm, but as we zoom out a little bit, you're going to see rain and snow sitting to our north, and that should eventually slide into our forecast. Might not be a big snowmaker, but we are expecting snow levels to drop down very low, and we're looking at several watches, warnings, and advisories out there, including a winter storm warning. We'll have the latest on these and, of course, your extended forecast coming up in just a bit. Rick and Sharon, back to you. And we're bracing for major rain and snow on the East Coast, and also expecting our snow and rain here at home. We'll have the details coming right up. Be a record breaker. I mean, this is starting to shape up sort of like the 1978 blizzard back east. So this is something that we're going to be talking about in a minute. First, we just want to show you this beautiful shot that Sky9 took earlier today. We know you've been over Big Bear, and you're going to see Big Bear right there. We're looking at the snow-capped mountains, expecting more snow. This is right at sunset. So just an amazing shot. Doesn't even look real.
Mesmerizing, yeah.
Really mesmerizing. It really is. This is pretty mesmerizing too. What we're expecting on the East Coast, the latest model run showing that this could be a record-setting nor'easter. So it's pretty amazing. Could even see 30 inches of snow in some parts of the Northeast. Also worth to mention, we've got thousands of flights that have already been canceled. So if you know of anybody that's trying to travel from the East Coast here, vice versa, it may be very difficult over the next couple of days, especially tomorrow and Saturday. That's where we're looking at those flight cancellations. By the end of the weekend, things should calm down, but until then, expecting blizzard-like conditions for the majority of the Northeast. We will continue to track the weather there. Of course, we're tracking our own weather here at home, and satellite radar showing you a drop and a flurry, but that's pretty much it for now. After midnight, that's when we're expecting more rain and snow to move in. We're not looking at a whole lot of moisture with the storm system, but regardless, we're looking at very cold conditions, and we could see a few isolated thunderstorms and gusty northwesterly winds. So some spots could stay dry, other spots could see downpours. You'll see snow levels dropping off from 4,500 feet tonight to 2,500 feet tomorrow, maybe even down to 2,000 feet by Friday. And we're expecting 4 to 8 inches above 4,000 feet, maybe a couple inches in the Grapevine, and could see a dusting in spots like the Antelope Valley. So showers for now, drying out, clearing out for next week. Same thing goes for the coast and pretty much everybody else in the Southland. Rick and Sharon, back to you.